whole bunch of like nominators that nominated the nominees, and there's just way too many people to thank. It would take us hours to thank everybody, but I just want to start off by on the right track here and saying that, you know, even though MistyWest is hosting this event, this is not per se our event, right? This is an event for the entire intelligent and connected devices community. Welcome everybody. Okay, awesome. Let's dive right into it. Madison, any quick housekeeping things or anything like that we have to, any quick
no, I think that we're good. I can only right now I can only see like what I'm sharing on my screen. So can you confirm for me, Leigh, like what you're seeing? Is it just the Misties graphic and like a spotlight, or?
Yeah, what I'm seeing on the YouTube live stream is just whoever's speaking pops up into the top right hand corner.
Okay.
And then it's the slide deck.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's certainly good enough for now and safe enough to try. Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, let's fire away here. So this event is recognizing the unsung heroes of intelligent and connected devices. Sometimes we like to say, you know, the top 20 in IoT or artificial intelligence in IoT. You know, the intelligence part, you know, that's the AI part, machine learning part, and then the connected devices part, you know, you might want to call that IoT if you're a big fan of that particular buzzword. The schedule for today, starting now, is talking a little bit about the event. Then we're going to get into a panel discussion. Then we're going to go through announcing the winners, and each winner is going to get up to 2 minutes to give a thank you speech. And then we're going to say a few more words to kind of close things up at 5:20. And then at 5:30, we're going to go into a virtual happy hour. And this is your opportunity. If you're in the live stream and you want to join that happy hour, stick around to the very end. You're going to get an invite code at the very end of this session so that you get to kind of join the Zoom chat and go into breakout rooms and get to know people. It's going to simulate what it would be like if we were at an award ceremony in person with each other. So make sure you stick around right till the end. That's going to be, I think, the best part. A little bit about the event. So first of all, about MistyWest, we're, as many of you know, a Vancouver-based engineering design consultancy, and we exist to create an inclusive and prosperous global community that's enabled by technology. Sometimes we like to say enabled by intelligent and connected devices in particular. That's sort of our specialization. Hashtag Misties. MistyWest is also mission driven. And by this, we mean to say that when we choose the projects that we work on, we like to use the Sustainable Development Goals as an indicator of as a guide of what we should be putting our time and efforts into. I encourage you all to check out the SDGs. They're fantastic. They're almost every single country in the world has signed up for them. So it's kind of in a very chaotic, crazy world, they're one of the best ways to kind of align people around common goals for good of humanity. All right, so let's give some shout outs to the Misties judges. So first of all, I see lots of the judges are there in the live stream right now. We can't wait for you to come and join during the breakout at the end. If you're a judge and you're here, thank you so much. I see Athena's there. I see all sorts of people. I'm not gonna, oh, Vincent's there as well. But let's just give a few quick shout outs here. So Alice, these are some pretty amazing judges. Wow. I mean, we're just blown away by the interest in judging this competition. And we thought it was gonna be really, really hard to find amazing judges. And as it turned out, we were just like inundated with incredible judges. We were so lucky to have them. Allison from Core 77. We had Cyril from over at SOSV, which is also, he's also part of Hacks. Vincent from Terramera. Sarah from RTO Consulting. She's also a sponsor for the event. And Sherry Huss from Maker Faire, one of the co-founders of Maker Faire. How crazy is that? Derek from Form, Trammell from Lower Layer Labs, Naomi from Altium. Y'all know Altium, the electronics PCB design tool. Janet from Dame Products, amazing products. Dave Meeker from Dentsu, runs the innovation group there. Maze from the Royal Canadian Navy. Christian Blanc from Carbon Inc., 3D printer company. Joanna Popper, wow, Joanna, you nominated so many, massive. Found a bunch of judges for us and everything. Big shout out to Joanna. She's a VP go-to-market at HP. Tiffany over at UBC. Peter over at Riot Micro, and also I believe ST as well, I think. Adam from Edge Impulse. Oh, sorry, not quite done.
Sorry.
Linda from Extron Electronics. Chris Massop from Microsoft. Dr. Courtney Cogburn from Columbia University. Elena from Tulip Interfaces. Chuck Martin from Informatech. And huge shout out to Chuck. He's been hugely helpful, getting a lot of press for this event. And Shanti from Gradient. So thank you. Big round of applause for the judges for all the hard work that they put in. Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so, so much. We have so much thanks for you. All right, so this is a bit of a reminder. I think I've already mentioned this, but I just want to mention it again. For those of you who are joining late, I noticed we have a ton of people watching this in the YouTube, which is the live chat, which is fantastic. We would love as many of you as possible to stick around for the virtual happy hour. I think that's going to be one of the most important parts of this event, is getting to meet the winners of the Misties Awards, as well as the judges, as well as some of the sponsors, as well as some of the media that's taking part in this. So that starts at 5:30. Stick around, you'll get a Zoom link for that, and you'll be able to come join. All right. So major shout outs to our prize partners. So here's the funny thing. I don't think any of the winners of this award even know that there are prizes for this. And the reason why is because we really de-emphasize that. We didn't really want people getting nominated for this to win a bunch of money or to win a bunch of physical prizes. But we actually have, from Nordic Semiconductor, we have many thousands of dollars of parts of like testing kits and dev kits and things like this. Adafruit donated thousands of dollars worth of dev kits as well, and all sorts of wonderful prizes. And same thing with RTO Consulting. Informal.cc has offered a space in New York, like for free. So you could like throw a party there, which is kind of cool for those of you who are on the Eastern Seaboard, especially. And then Ubidots as well has offered all sorts of really fun prizes. And so the winners, those are going to be specific to the top 20. So we're going to try to spread those as much as we can. Some of them are unfortunately we can only give to the top prize or even the top 5. And then also in addition to that, Nordic and SolidWorks have also donated $9,000 in cash prizes. And so yeah, those cash prizes will be distributed to the top 5 winners. So if you're in the top 5, you literally are going to get a check for cash. So that's kind of cool. And this is only the first year that we're doing it. So the checks are pretty small this year, but I can imagine them getting much bigger in the future. All right. Vancouver Tech Journal and Gregory FCA, huge thank you. These are our media partners. And we also have Chuck Martin as well. And Chuck has been doing like these incredible, he does these like media posts profiling the winners of the Misties. So if you didn't already get a chance to participate in that, just search your email for Chuck, C-H-U-C-K. Chuck Martin is his name, and you'll see there's a bunch of inquiries asking for information about you to be published. So if you want to get that publicity and that press matters to you or your press team, I think only 11 people have taken him up on that so far. So there's a lot of room left there for those of you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to say a few more things at the very end of this session. So and we'll have a little bit of time for questions as well. But now we're going to launch into the panel. So let's welcome our panelists. All right. So I see Adam Benzion from Edge Impulse is here. Thank you, Adam, for joining us. You can go ahead and turn your microphone on. Yeah, and we have Rex St. John. Rex, I see you there as well. You can go ahead and turn your microphone on.
Yep.
Awesome, there you are. And Allison, are you? I know Allison said she was going to join a bit late, so I just want to make sure.
I'm here.
Allison,
Yep. Hi,
you
folks.
are here. Yes. All right. We have all of our panelists. Amazing. Okay. Thank you so much. So let's just test the spotlight feature here really quickly. So what we're going to do is just check to see how this shows up on the live feed. Yeah. So one by one, if people want to just say, just maybe. I think we've already kind of introduced you a little bit, but I'll say a few quick words actually. So Adam Benzion is the CXO at Edge Impulse. Madison, can you go back one slide?
I closed sorry, I'll have to share my screen again. Sorry, Leigh.
That's okay. No problem. That's all right. I could do it by heart, but I'm probably going to butcher it.
Can you see it?
Davis Riddell from the COO of, am I pronouncing it right? Balena?
Balena or Balena are both acceptable.
Balena. Okay. And then Rex St. John, who's a one-man army, runs his own marketing and sales consultancy and does all sorts of amazing things around innovation and specifically on intelligent connected devices like IoT. So welcome all of our panelists. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'll give you just a quick moment to just say a few quick words about who you are and what you're working on. So just a few quick sentences each, just as a sort of an introduction. We'll start with Adam. Go ahead.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. Anecdotally, I know Alison and Rex for many years. We've all been working together on so many projects. So it's great to somehow all be here. So yeah, I work for a company called Gimpulse. We work on embedded machine learning solutions for hardware. But I come from a background really correlated to what everything is happening here and all the awards and all the work that you could have done, all the winners. I co-founded Hackster.io a few years ago, and I led that for many years. So it's a big community for people who, build hardware, build electronics, build software and all sorts of cool stuff. So I'm very familiar with some of the people here and your products. And I was also briefly a hardware entrepreneur about 10 years ago. I built a small consumer electronics company. So I'm very familiar also with the hardship and the journey that it takes to lift up hardware products or any product from the ground up. So happy to be here, happy to see familiar faces. And I know personally how much work you had to put into breathing life into everything you've done.
Thank you for being here, Adam. Alison, go ahead.
Sure. Hi, folks. I'm a COO at Balena or Balena, depending on how you want to pronounce it. We are a company that builds a full technology stack to develop, deploy, and manage IoT projects. That can be anything. It could be AI, it could be smart buildings, it could be drones, robotics. Our goal is to provide a generic platform to enable developers to bring those ideas to life. I'm based in Seattle, and I have a 6-month-old baby, which is why I have to leave a little bit early today. But anyone with kids on the live stream or on the call knows that childcare constraints are hard constraints. But really happy to be here and excited to see all the cool innovation going on in this space.
I'm a year and 1 month in myself, Alison. I can relate to you 100%. I was just there recently and still getting rough sleeps.
I'm sure.
My eyes. Awesome. Rex, go ahead.
My name is Rex St. John. I spent the last decade building global silicon ecosystems at Intel, ARM, and NVIDIA. When I was at Intel, I worked as ecosystem building on Intel's new technology group, where I worked on a variety of platforms focused on IoT, including Curie, Edison, Joule, Movidius, and previously after that, I built communities, workshop, roadshows, and so on. This is an exciting time for me because I'm departing from NVIDIA. I was running NVIDIA's Jetson ecosystem, and I'm going to be focusing on impact. We're going to be launching a new project called the Impact Computing Alliance. The website is going to launch at the end of this month, and it's going to be introduce a set of global goals dedicated to the IoT, edge computing, data center, and computing industry. There's going to be 14 of them, as I mentioned, and we're still fleshing it out. But the whole point is going to be, how do we bring together the computing industry and sustainability industry to talk about how we as industry can have a better impact on the world?
Fantastic, Rex. Thanks so much. All right, well, let's kick off this panel with let's start with like something kind of a little bit out of left field, just to get things kind of warmed up a little bit. Let's talk about like techno-optimism, right? We're in a crazy world right now. I think Elon Musk just tried to buy Twitter. There's a bunch of people here in Vancouver for TED. We've got this incredible stretching of society between the sort of pessimists and the optimists. You have all these different exponential technologies like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, IoT. They're all sort of in electric vehicles, battery packs. They're all sort of kicking in all at the same time. It feels like there's more exponential technologies all pushing things all at the same time than ever, at least any time in my lifetime. So I'd like to just start out with that question: is like, what do you make of all this? Like, is this a time to be more bullish and more enthusiastic and more motivated than ever, or is it completely understandable? You just want to crawl under a rock? Like, I'd love to hear this. I'd love to hear this sort of the opinion of the panelists. Let's start with Allison.
Yeah, wow, that's a big question. I am also fundamentally a techno-optimist, and I think I have a lot of faith in humanity's ability to rise to the occasion. And I think, especially given all of the enablement technologies that are getting built. I mean, this is, for example, what Belina tries to do is provide a platform that enables others to build. And every year it gets easier to build things and bring ideas to fruition that it wasn't possible to do even just a few years ago. So I think the harder the problems get, the better the solutions get. So I'm fundamentally optimistic. I'm long on humans and humanity, let's say.
Nice. So I'm gonna leave some white space in the conversation. I have a natural tendency to fill white spaces, so I'm gonna train myself a little bit here to be a little awkward at times, and I'd like for anybody to just jump in whenever they really want. It's okay to fill white spaces.
I can say something. Yeah, I think I'm with Allison. I think all of us here are probably on the same page. But I think there's also, I noticed a trend that it's really hard to, especially in the startup space, to start companies now and attract talent when your mission is not intertwined and really connected also for doing good, actively doing good in the world. And it's not just lip service. These are real actions, real funding of projects that are sometimes not revenue related, just for doing good in the world. And it attracts employees, it creates a culture, and it excites people. We can't build any more companies just for sake of profit and revenue and having big exits. It's not interesting. It's just very kind of deprived. So I feel that a lot of people are getting there and have gotten there, and it's definitely a motion forward. I'm very optimistic about it.
Well said. Rex, what's your opinion on the matter?
I agree that you have to put impact at the center now, and everything must pivot on impact by default, and everything else comes after that. I just think that I've got a whole talk about where I think IoT is going and how it's going to converge with these impact spaces, but I won't launch into the whole thing right now.
Fair enough, Rex. But yeah, we do have time, so you can definitely touch on that throughout the talk. So yeah, I think let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's talk about the UN SDGs. So first of all, can I just get a by show of hands in the out of all the top 20 winners here who are on the panel, because we're doing the Brady Bunch thing right now, so people can see your faces. Just by show of hands, how many people had heard of the UN SDGs prior to the year 2021? If you had heard of them before, raise your hand. That's quite a few. So that's more than half. How many of them heard about them for the first time in 2022? Okay, so that's a couple. We have 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4 people. Yeah, so I think that the trajectory, it looks to me like they're really taking off in terms of the public eye. There's just so much more attention being paid to impact, as you were saying, Rex, and it does seem like they're being used. Why don't we just quickly go through the panel here and ask, out of all the most pressing problems in the world, what do you think is the most urgent right now? If you could shift the world's resources, or if you could shift the attention span of the world and guide them towards this one problem, what would you pick?
I think if you want to make an improvement, you have to be able to measure things reliably and track them before you can improve some of this stuff. And even over the last 3 months, I've learned a lot about the carbon offsets markets. And what I didn't realize is that there's all these different standards, and there's a lot of double spending and low quality carbon credits. And it's a big problem because people are trying to use these things as a unit of account to do offsetting of economic activity or pollution. And if that's broken, then you can't measure and you can't offset stuff. And then these folks from KlimaDAO and Toucan Protocol came along, and the Wall Street Journal has written about this. So the total amount of market activity in these carbon credits during a year period was around $100 million previously. And when Klima came along, now it's $100 million a week. So the Wall Street Journal covered this. And what they've done is they've created a federated system in a way, or they're working on a federated system to make this carbon offsets market like accountable and reliable and trustworthy. And once you've done that, then you can actually start to use carbon offsets as like a token of account. It's like if you've got some Google data center, not to pick on them, I'm sure they're better than everybody else, but if they produce X amount of energy, then they could computationally calculate their impact on the world and then offset it automatically with these reliable tokens. So I think that's a very exciting area. So being able to measure it unlocks all this stuff.
It's a great example, Rex.
Sounds like Rex and I probably both are on the same page around which of the sustainable development goals are top of mind. And for me, it's also always been the goal of combating climate change and its impacts. I think that and its impacts part is also very important, because I think sometimes when thinking about climate change, we just think about the emission itself, right? But it impacts ecosystems, it impacts biodiversity, it impacts food and food security. And so it's a very foundational SDG to say, if we can solve this and all of its impacts, it actually helps address many of the other goals as well. So that's been one that I have always been really focused on. And I think, we can talk about this later too, but I think IoT can actually help a ton here. I mean, there's so many interesting ways that using connected devices and intelligent devices can help us better use our resources. So I think enabling people to do that with IoT is a great goal. So I'm with Rex. Climate change is number one for me.
How about you, Adam? Any strong opinions on the matter?
Strong opinions, not sure, but I would also say that there's a lot of problems in the world, right? There always were, there always will be. Pick something that you're passionate about and something that you're good at, and go with it. I like a lot of people, I love animals, wildlife. It literally hurts me when I read about, poaching of elephants and rhinos, and particularly for ivory and horns. It just kills me personally. So instead of just watching from the sideline and sometimes donating through Visa to all these organizations that can help, I got involved, for example, in an elephant conservation project, and we built elephant trackers that we fully funded for free. We got money from companies like Microsoft and Avnet and all sorts of companies to build it. And it was an end-to-end project. We shipped and deployed 10 of some of the world's most advanced trackers on elephants in Mozambique this year. And it took us a year and a half to work on it. And it's a passion project. And that's what, everything else bothers me. But that's one thing that I have the tools, the resources, the network to impact. And I'm just going with that. And I don't know if it's even going to solve anything. Maybe people will just kill all these animals to zero. But that's where I can impact, and that's what I'm going with. So I realize that if we all pick one thing that really we can impact and go with, we should just do that and make it into a narrative. That's something that kind of runs with your career, and you build expertise and you go deeper. The more you go, the more you understand how complex every problem is. Nothing is as simple as it may look. So that's kind of like my approach to it, that I decide, instead of just complaining and be bothered and pained by world problems, and particularly the ones defined by the UN, just to do something about it. And it feels good. It feels like you're part of it, not just an observer.
Yeah, well said, Adam. I can relate to you so much on that. Invasive species, poaching, there's so many issues with wildlife. And a lot of that is, in many cases, that is also driven by climate change. Some of the issues we're seeing in loss of habitat. That's a topic very dear to my heart. In fact, we at MistyWest, maybe someone can post a link to the chat on the YouTube live stream. MistyWest has done quite a bit of work in that area as well, specifically on a polar bear tracker, which is still being used today. So love that topic for sure. Okay, let's do a little lighthearted topic, and then we'll open it up for some questions. I'll do a couple more questions for the panel, and then we'll open it up to questions. And the questions, we're going to take a bunch of questions from the the top 20 winners that won Misty's awards, and then we'll open up some questions as well from the live chat. All right, so let's do a really simple one here. So name a device, like no matter how futuristic and no matter how unrealistic, name like an intelligent and connected device that you wish existed, like that solves some problem that you have or that you see in the world. It can be silly and stupid, it can be profound and world changing, but if you could just wave your magic wand, name an intelligent and connected device that you wish existed but does not yet exist. And I want some people in the chat to get in on this too. So if you're like watching this and listening to this on the live chat, I want people typing stuff in there as well. So let's get some like interesting and hilarious answers. And you know what? While we're at it, we'll just we'll let the top 20 winners as well think of a good one as well, and maybe they could share that later on during the happy hour or type it into the chat as well. But panelists, go ahead. Let's start with Rex. Rex, you first.
Oh man, I don't have an answer yet. Give me a couple minutes.
All right, we'll circle back on you. We can keep it pretty lighthearted here. There's no wrong answers. Allison, how about you? You got one in mind?
Well, I think this is a little bit of a cop-out because I'm not using my own imagination. But I'm honestly waiting for Neuralink. I feel like this is going to be an amazing breakthrough. I know, as you mentioned earlier, when you kicked off, Elon is a little busy right now. But I hope that we can get that at some point, especially as I said, being a new parent. There's so many times the act of taking what's in my brain and having to somehow get that out is a lot of friction. So I feel like Neuralink, once that exists, is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, good answer. My mom has dementia, both vascular dementia as well as plaque on the brain, and Neuralink can't come soon enough, honestly. I could not agree with you more on that one. That is a really good answer, a very profound answer. I thought I was going to get things like, I'm sick and tired of this toilet seat slamming, that kind of thing. But that
was my second choice. So after my first choice, Neuralink, yeah.
I got one. I worked on this project when I was at Intel called the Edison Explorer Board. And this was designed by the Open APS folks. And what they've done is they've created these open source diabetes monitoring solutions. So anybody can build your own closed loop artificial pancreas. So you can track your own blood sugar and you can have your own data. And the people that worked on this, they had a lot of people with this type 1 diabetes, they'll have this Bluetooth button in their arm that measures their blood sugar. And I always thought man, it would be amazing if you had something like that could tell you if you're losing weight or not. That would make my life so much easier. It's if you knew exactly how many calories were flowing in your body, I mean, that would be super helpful because you have to guess now. And I think that's a big problem.
That's a great one, Rex. Great example. How about you, Adam? You've had a little bit more time to think.
I'm still thinking.
Start with a problem that annoys you that hasn't been solved yet.
There's so many, but I would say something that Adam Sobel is working on, things that, wearables that really actually help understand a lot of your vitals and beyond the regular wellness. So more things maybe that kind of spill into medical devices, things that maybe even understand and can sample some genetics and understand who you are, maybe things that align with CRISPR. Is something, a technology really let me understand as an individual, as I'm getting older, how am I aging, all sorts of proactive things that I can do about my health and hack my health towards a place that I want to hack it. So I don't know if it's a wearable, an edible, something that lives inside of you, under your skin or on your skin, but anything to do with health and wellness that goes beyond tracking my steps and just measuring my oxygen. And I'm wearing this Oura ring, which does a lot of interesting things.
You and me both.
Yeah, a lot of us, right? So this is using Edge Impulse, by the way. So a lot of things in that field that really are integrated with the human body and help us understand our health in real time. That's really interesting for me.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great answer. There's a few interesting answers here from the audience. So there's, we got one that says, a device that will take all forms of momentum and physical movement and turn it into sustainable and usable energy. That's a great one. Closed loop systems for diabetes, allowing are advancing rapidly, and we're so grateful. Remote controlled inflatable pants for runaway toddlers. Kim, that's a genius one. I want that one too. Right on. A tiny drone to track Asian hornets. That's a really cool idea. All right, cool. And then we actually got a couple as well. Let's
Leigh,
open.
you've got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's open it up for questions. So we'll start with Karen. So Karen, I'll let you read your answer out yourself. You can unmute. Karen Donahue, go ahead.
Oh, hi. I just thinking of something I had worked on, an IoT product that actually didn't end up making it in the market, but a device that would track my elderly mother's mobility during the day so I can monitor that and encourage her to move more.
Perfect. That's awesome. All right, we're going to open it up to questions from the panel and then questions from the audience. We might just go just a couple minutes over time here, Madison. But let's start with questions from so everyone that you see here is we're revealing to you, we're not revealing the order until they give their acceptance speeches, but you can see on your screen right now who won Misties awards. They're all here. Everyone except for I think 1 or 2 people. But we're going to open it up to questions. Anybody who have questions for the panel, just go ahead and unmute and go ahead. You can raise your hand if you want or something.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Adam mentioned something on the opening question, roughly in referring to impact investing. And Adam, you said something very interesting. You said, making a lot of profit and large exits is no more interesting. Having done funding rounds on the receiving end, my opinion is that the world where the money is, the people who have the money, that is not at all the opinion, right? I was always asked in every VC meeting, oh, 10x is not good enough. Like, how do you do 20x exit? How do you do 50x, right? And I was working on something for new mothers. So Allison, you would love this, but that was of not interest if it's not like a 10x, 20x multiplier. So
new mothers, not 20x. I mean,
we will pay anything.
Yes, you would. And apparently I failed at that task of raising money, and I realized that's not my game. But my meta point here is that we might be here a little bit of a self-selected group where we think alike that, yeah, let's have SDGs, let's have positive impact. But I feel like when we go out and raise that money, it is a little bit, it was sad for me to see kind of where people want to put their money.
Yeah, that's a good point, Siddhanta. It's pretty incredible how much money there is chasing after like some of the most like benign SaaS products out there. Basically they're seeing such huge rewards there, and they have for quite some time. It's a very proven, very safe way to to do a Series A or Series B. And intelligent and connected devices, they oscillate every few years. A major FANG suddenly makes an announcement that they're making a huge investment into hardware, right? And that's what causes these big cycles in our industry. It's every once in a while a big company also gives up on hardware. They're like, this was too hard, and they're like, we're just going to do software. But it's just a matter of time before the largest software companies in the world have to get into hardware. They'll just have no choice. Like, if they try to keep growing in pure software, they'll never crack the $1 trillion market cap, in my opinion. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that to follow on to Siddhan's comments on there, I think one of the questions would be, how do we help as a group here what we're doing in IoT? Because again, we're kind of this smaller insular group, and there's a small community of us in these different ecosystems. But to his point, I think there is the whole funding market and the capital market. They're really going after what works and what just pays the money, even though socially everyone wants this, the government say that. And so for me, who spends a lot of time going after research grants to just like move tech forward into places like agriculture and sustainability, environmental monitoring, there's still a gap, because unless you're going after the government funding, it's just not there in the capital market world or the funding world to go after. And so we're still hamstrung on either doing it ourselves and starting slow, or hoping that the big guys will eventually do that. So, I mean, what can we do, I guess, maybe for panelists and others, is collectively, can we just continue to grow it and then fundamentally try to make that change, whether that's through the political routes or getting the right big guys to do it, like the FANGs of the world.
One thing I was thinking about in response to Siddhant's question, sorry, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but so the company I worked at before Belina was called Impossible Foods. People may or may not be familiar with it, but they make meat from plants. And the CEO and founder there, I guess he just became the chief visionary officer, actually. He was an MD, PhD professor at Stanford and went on sabbatical and basically thought, what can I do with my time that has the greatest impact on the world? He kind of identified this, SDG of climate change as being the biggest problem that needed solving. And his original routes were all kind of what Scott was just saying, let's maybe go a political route or government. And he basically realized the way to have the most impact was to just start an extremely successful company and play like win at the game that everyone else is playing, right? And not to bring up Elon Musk again, but Tesla is another great example. So maybe the answer here is, how can we find business models where it's a win-win-win, right? The shareholders win, but also we can have that impact and win in the market and just make better products that people want because they happen to be the best product, not because they don't even have to care about the mission, right? And that's almost a second thought, even if that's what's driving the company. So I'd love, if anyone wants to chat after this about kind of business model design, this is something I really enjoy thinking about, but how do you create the right incentive structures and economic models so that the capital markets want to participate and they win, but ultimately you're having a really great impact at the end of the day?
So I'd love to talk about this. So I'm organizing a summit called the ReFi Summit in May, refisummit.org. And we're bringing together the sustainability and Web3 groups together. So there's a company called Moss.Earth from Brazil, and they're doing something really fascinating, which is they're selling off 50-hectare tracts of rainforest. And that by itself is somewhat interesting. It's like, okay, you buy, you pay $8,000 and you get some piece of this rainforest. But they've taken it a step further, which is they've got this element of a satellite goes overhead every 6 days and takes a picture. So you can verify that that tract of rainforest is indeed being used. It's not being chopped down. It's not being used for cattle. It's there producing a carbon sink. So when you put all these pieces together between like the IoT layer and the verification, and then this NFT blockchain tokenization, you get something. There's a new market forming that I'm going to call natural capital verification. It's like, there's a rainforest tract, we can prove it. We put cameras there. You can visit it in the metaverse. You bought it and it's sinking carbon, and we value it. We value the living natural capital more than if it's dead. Like the living elephant is worth more than the dead elephant. So I think IoT is going to be critical to creating this world where we do value our natural capital the way we ought to be.
Well said. Let's go to the last question from Jerry, and then I have some closing remarks.
I'd love to hear from the panelists their thoughts on privacy and ethics as we become more connected through IoT devices and other connected technologies out there. How do you make positive change when there's negative side effects?
Yeah, good question.
Well, I'll jump in. Go ahead, Adam. You go first.
Mute. I think again, yeah, it's a great question. Have the culture, and you really just have to reach. I work.
Bit of a video glitch, Adam.
Yeah, I think we lost Adam.
Adam, unfortunately, your audio is glitched. Yeah, sorry. We'll jump. So maybe Rex or Allison.
Yeah, I had some thoughts I can share until Adam comes back. One thing that I think about here, I mean, I think it's this industry's responsibility to answer that question and to solve it, right? If we're creating externalities, then we need to think about that, and it's a great question to be thinking about now in advance before it becomes a huge issue. So I think it's our problem to solve. one thing that, this is not a super concrete answer, but one direction to think in is how do we empower the, let's call them the device owners. You know, I don't know how many people actually know, for example, how their router or their modem works at home, but how do we empower the people who have the devices around them, who are getting exposed, being monitored by these devices, maybe even without their knowledge or consent, to actually take ownership and give them the tools to maybe even change how that functions, and give them, empower them to alter their own physical world around them rather than just be a passive consumer of these devices. That's something that I think about a lot. I don't know exactly how that always looks in practice, but I think as a principle, that's a good starting point.
Well said. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I need to make a quick announcement here. We missed one of the judges. I am so sorry. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, I want to make sure I get your last name correct. I may have missed two, actually. Hold on. Bear with me, everybody.
One of them is Athena Demos, I believe.
Yeah, it is Athena Demos. Yeah, co-founder of Big Rock Creative, BRC VR. Huge thank you to Athena, and my apologies. I'm not sure how I managed to slip up there. That's my fault. My sincere apologies, Athena, and huge thank you.
Definitely my fault for the copy and pasting. So she was the first one on the list, so it makes sense that she got.
Yeah,
got
we'll fix that on the website. And huge thank you to you. Obviously, really appreciate that. Also, I have been getting a few messages from people saying, "Hey, I can't get in." So for those who are listening to the live stream right now, you're going to get your Zoom invite very shortly. So after the people give their thank you speeches, then that's when you'll get your invite link to come join the Zoom. So if you're listening to this right now, my apologies, but we can't give out the Zoom link just yet. We just have to get through the thank you speeches first for the top 20, and then everyone will be able to join. Okay, awesome. So I guess we're kind of out of time for closing remarks here, but Madison, do you want to go to the closing slides and then we'll go into the thank yous, or should we jump straight into the thank yous right away?
We want to announce the winners, right?
Yep, starting with number 20.
Yeah, so that's what we're moving on to next. Correct?
All right, so drum roll. Let's get a little drum roll.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again.
Top 20 winners. Number 20 is Michael Burton. Congratulations, Michael Burton, for being in the top 20 of the Misties, the first annual Misties Awards. Michael Burton, who would you like to thank? Go ahead with your thank you speech.
It's a problem going first, so you don't get to copy other people. Yeah, thank you very much to Leigh and the rest of MistyWest and all the judges. I appreciate the recognition. It's been a pretty wild ride with Semios over the past 7 years. Thank you to my wife and family for putting up with the long hours and lots of hard work. And also thank you to my the founder, Michael Gilbert, and giving me the opportunity to kind of build an amazing team that can kind of tackle hard impossible problems together and have a lot of fun doing it and being super innovative and creative. And looking forward to kind of the future years as we continue to tackle kind of sustainability and with an egg and helping nature feed a growing population. So thank you.
Well said, Michael. Thank you so much for being short and sweet and leaving lots of time for other people. Drum roll for number 19. Stephen McKenzie. Go ahead, Stephen.
I think you said it was Masensky. Oh,
Masensky.
Yeah.
Sorry, that must drive you nuts. Sorry.
Oh, trust me, that's a pretty common mispronunciation. So I hear that one a lot. But yeah, I want to thank you for this award, especially you guys at MistyWest. I think this really speaks to the impact that the robot operating system is having on the world of intelligent devices. It's been really great to meet all of the other winners. And I look forward to continue working on lots of mobile robotics technology and continuing to help deploy that over the world.
Well said, Steve. Thank you so much. I think I already mentioned this, but everybody that's in the top 20 is going to get some kind of set of prizes from the sponsors that I already mentioned earlier. But the top 5 are getting cash prizes as well. But if you're in the top 20, that means you're going to get something in the mail at some point, some kind of, it's either going to be sent directly from the sponsors or in some cases sent from us. So you can expect that in the coming weeks. All right, let's get a drum roll for number 18. Here we go. Sergio, go ahead.
All right. Hey, well, thanks everybody. Thanks to everybody at MistyWest for organizing this event. It's great. It's great to get this boost of, confidence and recognition. It's great. Thanks to all the judges. And I do want to thank to my team that we're very passionate and very excited about the problems that we're trying to solve. Special shout out to all our team members from Ukraine and people from Ukraine, especially, our friends that are still working and with their heart and soul, back in the conflict. So that's very important for us. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity also for you guys. That's it.
Well said, Sergio. All right, number 17. Azar, go ahead, Azar.
Hey, thanks very much for organizing all of this. So we're from Ha and Ha. We're a team of people we started 6 years ago, originally in supply chain analytics, building devices for that. And that's been our main bread and butter business. And now we've diversified into private 5G for enterprise, and where we are leading the way to allow companies and individuals to deploy private 5G radio networks without site licenses. It's a new thing to allow IoT really have freedom at scale to operate. And it's really, congrats also to the other people here. Super impressed by everybody on this panel, and thank you for the judges. Yeah, so appreciate it.
Wonderful speech. Awesome. So the people who have spoken so far are setting a very high bar for the thank you speech. First of all, because you're doing them so quickly. You have 2 minutes each and you're well under 2 minutes. So it's okay to speak a little bit longer, but we do appreciate your being poetic with your words. Very well said. Thank you. And moving on to number 16, Roman. Go ahead, Roman Kozak.
Hi, I'm Roman, CTO and co-founder of Verity. And at its core, Verity is an engineering team applying its resources to solving problems in agriculture. And I know at these award events, we often hear people say they couldn't have achieved what they did without their team. So I just want to give a special shout out to my team. We have Arthur Chen, our CEO, Jackie Jang, our chief engineer, Andy Tufek, our software engineer, and Charles Ju, our firmware engineer. And special thanks to MistyWest. It's really an honor to win an award from MistyWest. As an engineer, MistyWest is a place where I know a lot of us eventually could see ourselves working. So thanks.
Well said. Awesome. Thank you, Roman. Going on to number 15. Here we go. Antonio Roca. Go ahead, Antonio.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to win this award, and congrats to all the other folks that have been doing amazing things in this panel. I'm CTO and co-founder at SmartX. We use machine learning and edge computing to reduce the textile waste in all the world and around the globe. And I'd like to thank all my team that has been working tirelessly for the past 3 years, and especially my co-founders who have been in this journey together, consecutively pushing us to be better and better every day. And it's been just an awesome journey, and we are very happy to do this. And just not even 1% done, so still a lot to do. Thank you all. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here, Antonio. All right, let's go to number 14. Sempath Senti. Go ahead, Sempath.
Thank you, Leigh. Thanks, MistyWest. I think we're definitely all stronger together as a community. So it's really cool that you put together this event in the middle of a pandemic. It's great that we're getting to meet peers and all connecting on this really important topic. I'd also like to thank my colleagues, my mentors, and my family. They play a major role. I'll take a moment to talk about the work we do at Brave Technology Co-op. So the CDC just released statistics last week that the largest cause of death for adults in the US between 18 and 45 is fentanyl. We're really in the middle of an opioid overdose epidemic, and Brave's trying to use technology. We're trying to use specifically connected devices for overdose detection. Our goal is to eliminate all opioid overdose fatalities, and we're doing that through the use of technology, and we're definitely aiming to connect people, like people using drugs, with people that can give them naloxone and hopefully save their lives. And we think technology is the enabler here. Thanks again, Leigh. This is great.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's go for number 13. Eric Norden. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for everything, for the award, for the invitation, being here. I'm thanking all the smart people who I worked with, my friends, my family. I've been very, very lucky. It's a lot of fun help advancing the field. And I've been focusing on advancing the underlying compute architecture, particularly focusing on artificial intelligence and deep learning, making new use cases happen. Thank you so much.
Well said. Awesome. Let's go to number 12. Adam Sobel. Congrats, Adam. Go ahead. Your thank you speech.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for the award. It's an honor to be recognized. I never really thought I'd be at this spot in my life. I had always been interested in kind of emerging technologies. And about 6 years ago, I was having a conversation with my dad, who was a geriatrician, about managing people with dementia and how the technology wasn't really there. So I started exploring the opportunity and realized that there's a massive opportunity to keep people with dementia and Alzheimer's safe. And if we could do it, we could really help millions of people. So we've developed an entire complete wearable solution that understands where people are all the time, does activity detection and behavior monitoring. And it's been an outstanding, exciting journey to build this complete solution. Thank you so much to everyone who supported me over the last 6 years. It has been a crazy ride, but I really appreciate the team, advisors, investors, and family that have helped me get to where I am. So thank you so much.
Well said, Adam. Number 11. Scott Waller. Congratulations, Scott.
Hey, thank you guys. Hey, Scott Waller, and CEO and co-founder of a company called Thingy up here in Seattle area. And I want to thank obviously MistyWest for bringing this crazy competition. The judges, the panelists, everyone. It's short story about MistyWest, and I've been working parallel with you guys for a while. At Thingy here, we're experts in the LoRaWAN space and created wildfire sensors. But actually, you introduced me to Roman over at Verdi, and now we're doing partners in LoRaWAN and agriculture. But big thanks to my co-founder partner Andrew Smallridge down in Southwest West Australia. We created this company back in 2017, and since then, we're doing everything in environmental monitoring and taking IoT and connecting things in really remote areas. And over half of our time and energy is spent. Personally, it's a passion of mine to advance research. So bringing LoRaWAN and sensors and connectivity into the research world, including at the government level. So if we could tie that into actual the sustainable development goals, every little bit of progress is good. So thank you guys, and thanks to the rest of the winners.
Awesome. Good stuff, Scott. Here we go. We're into the top 10 now, which means something, because you get to say, I'm in the top 10. Here we go. Number 10, Siddhant Gupta from Microsoft. Go ahead. Sampath, go ahead. Give your speech. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you, Leigh and MistyWest. When Leigh pinged me, I was like, I'm actually not sure why I am being honored with this award. I don't remember what I did. At least over the last couple of years, when we have run into hard problems, we've actually called the guys at MistyWest. So you've solved some of those problems for us. So I'm the director for product incubation at Microsoft. That's a made-up title where basically I get to take some of our science and see them through business models and incubation and turn them into businesses for Microsoft. And the one I'm working on right now is called Microsoft Premonition. I encourage you to just kind of go Google that. And you'll see some of the cool stuff you're doing with mosquitoes and biothreat detection. And the tagline there is, what if we can predict epidemics like we predict weather? So really great project, lots of IoT. And I also, thank you for connecting with all the awesome people. I think that's the best award here for me, is connecting to all of the rest 19 folks here. So thank you again.
Great speech. Number 9, here we go. Ann Torres. Go ahead, Ann.
Thanks, Leigh. My name is Ann Torres. I'm the Senior VP of Engineering at Synapse Product Development. We do engineering consulting for different clients, really looking primarily at hardware development, but also helping them transform their businesses, and also connect create connected devices and potentially help them in digital transformations in the digital space. I want to first thank MistyWest for bringing together this awesome group of developers in the intelligent and connected devices space. It's just great to be part of this organization and to be recognized with this great group of other developers. I also want to say that all the work that we do at Synapse is really because of the large group of multidisciplinary developers that we have within our teams. It allows us to take on a lot of really ambitious projects, and in particular doing things in the people and planet space. Most recently, we've been taking on systems in doing carbon sinks and more efficient energy transformation, as well as looking at ways that we can help with human health and personal health and fitness. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank some of my team, in particular, Jake Sprouse and Dylan Garrett, who have really led the charge on natural user interface and zero UI, which has helped us look at how we might be able to improve the way in which people interact in the digital space, and has also helped us to grow our capability in design for inclusivity. And really want to acknowledge Helen Nashute, who's really taken on the development of that part of our capability. I also wanted to acknowledge Paul Ganesho and Heather Brundage, who have led our connected devices capabilities and development. And then finally, Banner Alkazi and John Staskovich, who lead our software and firmware teams, who do a really good job of pulling together our hardware teams and making digital and software systems that help the hardware connect into the digital space. So overall, thank you very much, and it's just a pleasure to be part of this team and this crew.
Awesome. Congrats again, Ann. Let's go to number 8. John Colombo. Congratulations, John. Oh, actually, John gave me advance notice, and I forgot to mention this. He will not be here to accept his award today, unfortunately. But he did give me advance notice, so we'll let him off the hook this time. He will be invited to Vancouver next year, just the same as everyone else. But unfortunately, could not be here to accept the award today. Moving on to number 7. I hope you get this name right.
Josie.
Josie
Yeah.
Haynes. Go ahead, Josie.
Thank you. I really appreciate getting this award, and it's great being recognized for my technical innovation. I've been working in the tech industry for 22 years on large-scale consumer tech, and in IoT for the last 6 on both Siri and then most recently at Tile, where I helped integrate the Tile finding technology into Intel-based laptops. I'm also on a mission to retain women in tech, and so I run my own leadership and DEI coaching business. So I empower technology leaders to build inclusive and diverse teams in today's constantly changing world. So, I challenge each of you on the call to start taking daily action to be better allies. That's the only way we're going to move the needle. But I also did want to take a moment to thank my team and partners, as without them, that Tile Windows application would have never come to life. So first, I want to thank Mark Kim, who was my partner in crime on the business development side, my dev team, Katarina, Prem, and Arash, who really made the magic happen, Rami and Victor for their tireless testing efforts. And a big thank you also to Jocelyn, our Senior Director of Firmware, who designed a lot of the architecture. And I also want to thank a lot of our cross-functional partners with Yingri, our designer, Sam and Kwong for being great program managers, and Jaina for some amazing marketing support. It was truly a team effort and we're better together. And, thank you, MistyWest, again for this award.
Thank you, Jossie. All right, number 6. Jerry Ellsworth. Go ahead, Jerry.
Thank you. Thank you to the MistyWest folks for giving me this great honor. It's pretty humbling. I think back to when I was a kid living in a small town without much exposure to technology and science, and all of the people that took time out of their busy days to pull me to the side and teach me about electronics, early mentors. Throughout my career, the mentors that guided me to become a better engineer and to have more compassion towards folks using our product and to make a positive impact on the world. And it's also humbling to think back that many of these folks aren't around anymore and aren't here to see this. I want to send out a special thanks to the entire Tilt 5 team. It's amazing working with an entire team that is so passionate about building great products and making a positive impact in the world. At Tilt 5, our core mission is to create a tabletop augmented reality gaming system that brings people together. And by bringing people together through that social connection, it's going to make stronger families, friends, and communities. And so with that, I just want to thank everyone again. Thanks for the honor.
Honored to have you here, Jerry. Thank you so much. Now we are in to the top 5. For those who are listening right now in the live stream, we're getting very close to happy hour. What that means is that you are all going to get the Zoom link to come and join us. And that means the top 44, there's a whole bunch of people that are like listening right now that were also up for this award. They made it into the top 44. They're all going to be coming in, like lots of them are going to be coming and joining us as well. Judges are going to be coming and joining us, and people from the general audience. We're all going to get together and have a sort of a happy hour with breakout rooms. I've been getting lots of text messages saying, how do I get into the Zoom? The answer is you will get a link sent to you. We're going to share it on the live stream, and we're also going to share it by email within the next probably 20 minutes or so. So that's how we're going to do that. But now we're into the top 5, which means if you are in the top 5, that means you are also winning a cash prize in addition to some of these physical prizes as well. So big congratulations to the top 5. And here we go with number 5. Fidel from MIT. Fidel, Adib, go ahead, Fidel.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very happy to be recognized for my team's work in IoT. I'm a professor at MIT where I lead a group that invents new wireless and sensor technologies. I also teach the IoT class at MIT, so I get to have that type of fun as well. What I'm thankful for is a wonderful job that gives me 3 privileges, which are people, sci-fi, and impact. So let me elaborate. People, I get to work with brilliant researchers and inventors every day, my students and my postdocs. Sci-fi, I get to dream about sci-fi and translate science fiction to reality by inventing new technologies. And 3, impact, I get to work with brilliant technologists to translate our research to real-world impact. And right now, I'm excited about 2 things. In my lab at MIT, we have been inventing for the past few years technologies for the health of our planet. The tech industry has done an amazing job in bringing IoT and wearables to consumers. And we're working now on bringing IoT and wearables to the oceans and to the planet. And the second thing I'm excited about is that our recent startup, my team is now spinning out our latest sensor fusion technology. And we are looking for amazing people to join us from hardware to software, computer vision, and user interface design. So for anyone looking for a new adventure in IoT, we're always looking to join forces. So congrats to all the winners. I know it's hard to do IoT and hardware. I teach it, so I'm quite familiar with that. And thanks for MistyWest for the initiative.
Thank you, Fidel. Thank you so much. And number 4, Rosalind Picard, who also gave her regards, but cannot be here today. You know her personally, right, Fidel?
Yeah, Roz is my colleague, and she's an inspiration. As many of you might know, Roz invented the field of affective computing, which is computers that can recognize human emotions. And she's had multiple startups in this space. So I saw her earlier yesterday, but
I know she's up to her eyeballs in alligators, putting in 90-hour weeks preparing for all the visitors. So is it sponsor week there at MIT Media Lab or something?
It is the spring member event. That is true. I just came back actually from one of the events.
I remember how when I was at MIT, I remember how insane that was. It was like the craziest time ever. So I can totally understand. Sadly, she can't join us today, but she's in the top 5. Congratulations to Rosalind. And number 3, here we go. Karen Donahue. Karen, go ahead.
I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank Leigh Christie and the Misties Awards organizers and judges. Thank you for all the emails and wonderful communication. And I'd like to thank my partner, Craig Newell, with whom I've built the Local Haze app. We're now doing air quality monitoring with over 30,000 sensors over 6 continents. And I want to thank also my mentors. I know Jerry mentioned she wanted to acknowledge her mentors. I also want to, just mention a mentor that's been really influential for me is Dr. Kenneth Knowlton, and also Muriel Cooper, who was my advisor at MIT, Dr. Joseph Paradiso, Dr. Henry Lieberman, Dr. Patty Maas, and Dr. Angela Chang, and also Dr. Ron Becker, and the many others that I so appreciate. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Karen. Awesome. And here we go for number 2. Wow, it's getting up to the top numbers here. Number 2 is Steve Barker. Steve, congratulations. Go ahead, Steve.
Thank you, Leigh. I must say it's more than a little bit overwhelming for us here to be accepting this award today. I'm the founder of a small company here in Melbourne, Australia, and over the past 18 months, we developed a solution to manage water assets and large dams more effectively for our customers, and they had some great outcomes from that. And it's been able to deliver on some of those sustainable development goals with water, and what's really one of our most valuable assets on the planet. I would like to obviously thank the Misties and yourself and Madison for organising these awards. I feel very humbled to be in the company of the people that are in this group today, and to come in at this level is just wonderful for us. And as I say, I'm more than a bit humbled. I'd like to thank a few people. We couldn't have done this project without input from our customers. They started the whole process and the journey for us by asking the question, we have a problem, Steve, can you do something better with this for us? And without those questions being asked, none of this development or innovation is going to happen in our fields. I'd like to thank the crew over at UbiDots. I know they're a sponsor and an associate at MistyWest. They were wonderful support to us in building our cloud platform. And Augustine and David there, your support has been invaluable. I'd like to thank Dale and Kyle at Edenworth here in Melbourne with their work on our hardware. And most importantly, I would like to thank my partner in life and my wife, Tracy. She's been wonderful support, and her indulgence and putting up with me being obsessed with this IoT project for the past 18 months. I couldn't have done it without her, so thank you.
Thank you again, Steve. Great speech. And now for number 1, by process of elimination, people might have already figured out who it is. Number 1, Mark Ryman. Let's go, Mark. Congrats, buddy.
Wow. Thank you. I was not expecting this at all, so thank you so much. And I'm actually glad I wrote out some notes here. Thank you, MistyWest, to the judges. It's an absolute honor to receive this first place, I guess, in this inaugural top 20 individual leaders in intelligent connected devices. MistyWest, Leigh Christie, and the entire team have been techno champions and instrumental in supporting and growing this technology ecosystem here in Canada, but in the US as well and globally. And Leigh, you're my hero. I'm Mark Rabin and the founder and chief visionary officer at Portable Electric, and we're a full stack, Vancouver-based full stack hardware, firmware, and software company building the future of clean energy, portable and mobile power systems. And we've got hundreds of units in the field today with our full IoT telematics and data platform. And you can think of these as like smart connected energy computers on wheels. Actually, one of our claims to fame is that we actually brought clean energy to Hollywood film production. We actually have a cameo in the James Bond movie. You can see it in the garage where they pull off the cover of the Aston Martin in the bottom left corner. When I started this thing 6 years ago, people thought I was crazy. They thought, oh, this is kind of a neat idea. The component comms barely worked. Investors ran scared at the mention of hardware, and the clean tech ecosystem was in its infancy. And wow, how times have changed. Now it's how big, how fast, who's going to win? Go, 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 right? It's just like, it's go time. You know, we now have competitors, right? And that's helping us push ourselves to diversify, keep finding new avenues for our technology, but we're all working together to build this vibrant technology community. I keep thinking about the word, you know, co-creation. That's obviously a buzzword these days, but I mean, it's true, right? And to solve some of the world's biggest and most important challenges in the energy transition. Big shout out to my team at Portable Electric of wild innovators who work tirelessly and never say no. Also, really big thank you to Meryl D'Souza, our dedicated marketing manager, for launching our amazing new branding and just for being a rock. And lastly, the biggest shout out to everyone here who made the top 20 shortlist. You all inspire me to keep doing this day in and day out. And I'm just getting warmed up. So looking forward to collaborating with you all in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. That was a great speech and a great way to cap the Misties. Congratulations again to all the winners here. You can see all their names here. Everyone was here today except for two, which I think was a pretty good turnout for a virtual conference. In the future, as many of you know, this will be held in person in Vancouver, and it's going to be, I'm going to talk a little bit about the future of the event, and then we're going to open it up to the happy hour. Again, congratulations to everyone. I want to give a few more shout outs here to some specific people. Again, I think that the thing about the Misties is that it really did take a lot of people to make this to happen, right? And so one of the things I want to do is draw people's attention to the short list, the top 44. So lots of the top 44 are going to be coming and joining us for this happy hour. And like, chances are if they get nominated again next year, like there's a really good chance they're going to win, because the top 20 from this year can't win next year. So what that means is that like basically every year there's going to be another top 20, a completely fresh top 20. And the top 20 from this year will be like alumni, basically. So you're going to get invited back to this event in Vancouver every single year. Similar to TED that way, like that's kind of how TED works as well. And this award is going to be like right after TED in Vancouver. So you can kind of kill two birds with one stone. If you come to Vancouver for TED, you can also be here for this, the Misties Awards. So that's kind of how we're trying to play it out. But for the top 44, I just want to give some major shout outs, because these are some really high powered, amazing people. So I'm just going to blast through the list really quickly. And I encourage you all to check out if someone can share the link to the Misties landing page to the YouTube chat. We should create a Slack channel or something that can grow the network. That's a great idea, Sinan. Yes, we will figure out some way of doing that. Yes, and we'll also make it so that people can get in touch with each other through LinkedIn as well. So one way that you can do that actually is by using the shortlist. So if you go to the Misties, MistyWest.com/the-Misties, please someone post that link to the YouTube chat. You'll see that the top 44 are there, and their LinkedIn links are there too. So there's 4 columns of top 44, and it's really important to us that we don't want to like alienate the people that didn't make it to the top 20, right? The whole point of this is to build community, and it's really important to us to kind of give credit where credit's due. And so that's our way of doing it, is by having that short list on the website. So a huge thank you to the top 44. Also a massive thank you to anyone who nominated anyone for the Misties. All the nominators, like, you've been hugely helpful. There's some nominators that nominated like 10 people for this award. And the expectation is next year that if like the top 20, the top 44, we really want you to nominate as many people as possible. Obviously the top 20 are going to be kind of motivated to do that anyway, just because you can't win the award twice. So, you know, nominating people next year is going to be really huge. Again, a huge shout out to our prize partners, SolidWorks, Adafruit, Ubidots, Nordic Semiconductor, RTO Consulting, Informal Studio, our media partners, Gregory FCA, Vancouver Tech Journal, and Chuck Martin. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I'm gonna give one last shout out to our judges, Athena Demos, Karen Yang, Tyler Mincy, Michael Kaur, Mike Luzin, Amaric Renard, Suchit Jain from SolidWorks, Allison Fonder, Cyril Ebzwire, Vincent Clerk, Doris Tang, Sarah Meister, Sherry Huss, Derek Desange, Trammell Hudson, Naomi Hamels, Janet Lieberman, Dave Meeker, Maze Majub, Christian Blanc, Joanna Popper, Tiffany Hamilton, Peter Wong, Adam Benzion, Linda Mergidsten. I'm realizing there's a few that was missing from the slide. Chris Massot, Dr. Courtney Cogburn, Elena Codman, Chuck Martin, and Santhi Annalistis. Shanti Annalitis. I think I got that right. Anyway, those judges are all on the Misty's landing page. And my apologies if we missed you on the slide deck during this presentation. I don't know how that went wrong, but I somehow messed that up. So my apologies, but huge thank you to everyone that has made this a huge success. And I guess we have one more slide, and then we're going to open it up to the happy hour. All right, so the future, right. So just, I talked about this a little bit already, but I just want to talk about it a little bit more. So the next year, I don't know if any of you have been to British Columbia before, but next year it's going to be in Vancouver, BC, right after TED. And I don't know if any of you, like some of you live here already, but if you've never been to Vancouver, it's a pretty gorgeous place. And we're gonna try to raise as much money as possible to actually subsidize tickets. So the top 20, for example, and the alumni from the previous year, we can't make any promises right now because we don't know how much money we're gonna raise, but we're gonna try to raise enough money to help subsidize people's tickets. And the priority will be based will be winners from this year, and we'll also prioritize the winners for next year. And then if we have money left over that, then we'll prioritize for the panelists as well. So that's it for that. And like on that note, let's send out the Zoom link and start the happy hour. So everyone's welcome to the happy hour. Take a look on the Zoom on the YouTube chat for the link. Come join. Yeah, Meadow, say hi. Say hi, Meadow.
Drop the link into the YouTube chat right now.
Yeah, so, and for those of you who are in the Zoom right now, just stay in the Zoom. You don't have to go anywhere. You can just stay for happy hour just by hanging out here. I know some of you have to leave, but that's okay. No worries. And yeah, we'll start letting people into the Zoom, and we'll do breakout rooms, and we'll all get to hang out and have a drink and